So our today's anime will be fun, because our protagonist Ichika Oimura becomes the only boy in the world to pilot in Infinite Stratos, so he was forced to enroll in the all-girls academy, because so far, only females could pilot an IS mech, so he becomes the center of attention as if he was some kind of unique creature, and their Shifuyu Oimura. Ichika's older sister enters the scene as their homeroom teacher. She's seriously famous around the world, because she held many achievements as an IS pilot of first generation. But since IS had some seriously destroying power, the world government had put a ban on its military use, so it's now solely used for competition purposes only. So after their classes were over, Ichika's childhood friend Hookie approaches him and calls him out on the roof to have a chat. They had been separated for 6 years, so they were catching up. But on their conversation it could be seen that Hookie has feelings for Ichika, but their chat was interrupted by the period bell. Ichika then continues his class, but gets nothing that Maya teaches. Then after her class was over, Cecilia, a lady of a noble family, approaches Ichika to flex her status. She tells him that she's the elite representative contender. So she thought to look all high and mighty in front of him, but Ichika holds her off in the middle because he doesn't know anything about representative contenders. So she explained that representatives are the ones who represent their country as an IS pilot, and she's from England, but seeing that Ichika didn't even know the basics, Cecilia told him that she would teach him everything about IS only if he begs her, but Ichika was being a cool Chad and didn't give her much attention. So Cecilia gets angry and started arguing with him, but then the school bell rings, so she left him for now. Ichika was exhausted, so for once he thought that he could at least relax in his dorm room. But his luck once again made him lucky as he got Hookie as his roommate. She had come freshly out of bath, so she got embarrassed and tried to knock him out. But somehow Ichika manages to save himself and get out of room, but outside was even more heavenly as he got surrounded by girls in their pajamas, so he begged Hookie to let him in. So considering that, Hookie spared the guy and took him in, but then she started to get into her little delusion that Ichika had requested the higher-ups to get the same room as her. And once again she tried to knock him out of embarrassment, but their other girls were enjoying the free entertainment show, so Hookie stopped herself for modesty's sake and accepted to share their room. Well, Hookie knew things are not going to change, so she puts up some ground rule to stay together, like shower time. But their toilet rules gets both of their attention because there are no toilet in the room, and everyone had to share the same toilet on the hallway. So she stopped him from even thinking of using girls' toilet with another knockout try. But this time Ichika took another kendo stick, but along with it her bra comes out. So finally he got one knockout hit. Then in class, Shifuyu announced the role of class representative, and all the girls chose Ichika. But Cecilia got a problem with it because she couldn't stand it that a guy would become class representative, and started to spew nonsense about Japan being an underdeveloped country with trashy culture that allows a man to get ahead of women's. So Ichika couldn't hold it in and insulted her right in her face with the same insult on England. So Cecilia got cranky and challenged him to an IS match with a bet that the loser would be the winner's servant. Ichika accepted it and thought of giving her a handicap. But suddenly the entire class began to laugh at him, because everyone in the world knows that women's are the best when it comes to IS units. But now that their duel has been decided, Shifuyu informs him that school will provide him with a personal IS for this duel, but it will take some time to prepare. Ichika didn't realize how special it is to have a personal IS, so Cecilia was pleased that she could go all out if Ichika uses his own IS rather than a training model. Cecilia had her own IS. And only 467 people in the entire world holds a personal IS, so now Ichika realizes the value of getting a personal IS. Then Shifuyu completes the information that every IS core was made by Tabane Shinono. And one girl noticed that Hookie and Tabane got the same last name, Shinono. So Shifuyu shocked them with the news that Hookie is Tabane's very own little sister. Then Maya begins to take the lecture and gave a class on IS units and its function, and after her class, Ichika comes up to Hookie and invites her to lunch, but she just pushes Ichika down in anger for some reason. Ichika didn't mind it at all, and yet after that she ends up joining him. Then he asked Hookie to teach him about IS for his duel, and she flat out refused. Then a random girl appears and offers her help to Ichika in learning to pilot an IS. And then Hookie suddenly agreed to teach him out of jealousy, but instead of teaching him about IS, she took him to have kendo training. And just like that a week passed and Hookie didn't teach him anything other than kendo. And now he's even more screwed than before. Then there Ichika got his own IS named Byakushki. So he gets ready to head into the arena, but before that Maya gave him a heat warning to keep an eye on his shield energy. So Ichika entered into his first battle, and right from the start he started to have a hard time, because Cecilia was a long-range user and Ichika turned out to be a close combat user. But slowly he started to get the hang of it and began to resist her attacks, so Cecilia used drone-types attackers on Ichika, but he destroyed 2 of them and only 2 were left. But it turns out to be a trick to use her other 2 spare attackers on Ichika. He tried to avoid those missiles but eventually got hit by it. Everyone thought Ichika's game was over. But his IS shifted into its second form, and Cecilia was shocked that Ichika was giving her a head-on fight in default settings, but all of these second form things were going over Ichika's head. So Ichika got a new move called Ukihira in his second form and closed the gap between them. But before Ichika could land his attack, his shield energy ran out and Cecilia won by default. So Shifuyu explained that his IS has a barrier disabling attack that uses shield energy, which is why he lost. After that, normal classes came back and Shifuyu asked Cecilia and Ichika to demonstrate how to operate an IS, so they flew over the sky for an example, and after a short while, Shifuyu ordered to land on ground with a high dive, so Cecilia nailed it with a perfect landing. But Ichika couldn't control himself and made a hole in the ground with his impact. But this time instead of looking down on Ichika, Cecilia got concerned for him. Then afterwards, all the other girls threw a nice little party for Ichika. Because Cecilia stepped down from the position of representative and the seat goes to him, but it clearly appears that Hooky was jealous. Then after their party, all of the girls in class began talking about the new transfer student who enrolled in Class B, but none of the girls cared. Because their class has 2 people with personal IS and no one could rival them, but Rin comes in to prove them wrong because she has her own IS as she's China's representative from Class B. She also turned out to be Ichika's childhood friend, so they instantly hit it off and started catching up in the canteen. But there was jealousy in the air and Ichika didn't notice it because he was busy getting along with Rin, so Hooky and Cecilia gets there to find out their relationship. And their Ichika denies their claims and tells them she was just a childhood friend, and that upsets Rin, but Hooky and Cecilia sigh in relief. Ichika introduced Rin to them and told Hooky that he met her right after she moved out of town. Then lunch break ended and Rin returned to her class. But seeing them so close, Hooky and Cecilia went hard on Ichika's training that day and wore him out. Ichika couldn't even move a muscle after that intensity, so Hooky and Cecilia left. Then after catching a breath to relax, Ichika was at the locker room to change and Rin gets there. They started to have a nice talk. And there Rin tries to remind him about the promise he made to her in their childhood. But Ichika was in a hurry to get to his room to have a rest since it's time that Hooky would be done with her shower. Rin couldn't understand the situation, so Ichika tells her that he's sharing his room with Hooky. Hearing that, Rin got to their room to switch with Hooky, but Hooky turned her down. So Rin started to ignore her, and out of frustration Hooky tried to attack her, but she defended herself. Then Rin reminds Ichika of their promise, and there he remembered that he promised he would eat her sweet pork dish every day, but he still wasn't able to understand true meaning of that promise, and thought she would make him dinner for free. So Rin got angry at him for being a thick skull. She then challenged him for the class league match, and she also bets that winner will get to boss around the losser. So Ichika agrees without hesitation, but he bets she'll have to explain that promise if he wins. Then Rin left in anger and Hooky was hearing everything and feels shocked at how dense Ichika can be. Then comes the day of the match, and Ichika was clearly at a disadvantage against her, because Rin wasn't just a close combat type, but also a long-range attacker. And his shield energy was rapidly draining, and the fight was dragging out longer, so Ichika remembered a technique that Shifuyu had taught him, but there's only one major flaw in this technique. And Shifuyu told Maya about it, that it only works once, and even in that one shot, Ichika was about to land a clean hit on Rin, but an unknown IS attacked the field. And their match was suspended instantly. Shifuyu ordered them to retreat, but Rin chose to stay behind to let Ichika escape first. She was about to get hit and Ichika saved her. But that beam attack was ruthless, and Rin and Ichika weren't able to go offensive against it, and that attacker had jammed the field, communications, and servers around the campus. So they won't be getting any help. Cecilia wanted to go out there to help them, but Shifuyu reminded her that her IS is not compatible for team fight. On the other side, Rin and Ichika tried several times but couldn't land a single hit, however. Ichika noticed one thing, that whenever he gets to Rin to make up a strategy, that Black Eye starts to listen carefully as if it's spying on them. And also its movement seems more mechanical than normal, but their hooky comes in to cheer on Ichika, and seeing her that I's got his attention on her, so Rin charged her cannon. But Ichika stepped in front of her, telling Rin to shoot right on his back, and Rin did so, and with her attack, Ichika charged his shield energy to give everything on a single attack. Ichika managed to take out his one arm with his barrier attack, but it instantly counterattacked him and cornered him. But Ichika wasn't worried because Cecilia had arrived at the scene and destroyed that lone mech. But even in the end it shot out one final attack and Ichika just happened to be in front of it and took it all on himself. Thankfully he only sustained a few injuries and woke up in hospital, and their Rin was already there and Cecilia comes in. She got cranky because three of them agreed not to make a move on Ichika until he wakes up, but Cecilia and Rin had already broken their agreement and began an argument game again. So our video ends here for today, but stay tuned to watch another part of the anime on my channel, and for that simply subscribe and hit the bell icon so you will stay updated on my every updates.